Hi ladies, it's Jen here doing my Hump Day challenge for the Victoria Marie Facebook group. Today I am challenging you to use multiple pattern papers on the same layout. So here I'm showing you the patterns that I'm using, and I picked my colors based off of that pattern paper I just showed you there. That's from Pink Fresh Studio, and it has lots of fun bright colors in it. This photo unfortunately was taken on a really gray day, and so but the tree in it is very nice and bright, and my son is wearing this really bright sort of neon-y, greeny yellow shirt, so I felt like I wanted to make it cheerful, although I did end up picking that sort of tanny gray background. It's like a grayish background. Which I did, for one, because white just didn't look right, and because the patterns themselves, some of them were more white based, some of them were more cream based, and so I thought that that helped a little bit. And also because my challenge was to use lots of pattern papers, and for most of these I'm using scraps as well, so if you want to challenge yourself for that as well, especially if you're part of the no-buy group, use your scraps as well for this. So what I'm doing is I started with a vertical strip and then a horizontal strip, and that's my sort of landing space for my photos, or for my one photo. I usually do more than one photo on layouts. And then what I'm doing is creating a couple more vertical strips, and I wanted to make that nice pop of red and make sure that that multicolor strip was very prominent on there. Because I feel like that helps pull my colors together, that you can see them. I had pulled that pattern paper there, it just wasn't working for me. So I decided to pull in a little bit more blue instead, and I'm just making sure that that's on the right side of my photo, because it's not really the same kind of blue as the strip that I have going vertically, and I'm going to cover up that corner too where those two match up. Here I was thinking, did I want to add sort of a border strip on there? And it just seemed like too much. So I did test it out a little bit, but it seemed like a bit too much. It certainly could have. And if I hadn't used a pattern paper background, it might have worked a little better. Here I'm just pulling in one more piece of pattern paper. I just kind of wanted to have three sort of horizontal layers behind it, although I do have a white mat around my photo as well. But I just felt like that's kind of what I wanted, and instead of making that one so prominent, I kind of I'm tucking it in, and you don't really see very much of it at all. You can see I tucked it in right there. Yeah, so if you count all of those up, I've managed to get 7 pattern papers in for all these layers, an 8th pattern paper in on my background, and I'm going to manage a 9th pattern paper in a few minutes, so you will see. So I had turned the camera off there just to go away and ink all the edges, and then I'm going to have to ink a few of them because as I start putting these layers together, I decide they're a little big, so I'm just cutting them down a smidget. And here I'm just working on that little piece that I wanted to kind of have come out of the corners of the yellow and break up a little bit of the yellow and the blue together, and I'm just cutting down that blue mat just a little bit more. And basically now I'm just working from the top down and sticking my layers together because I hadn't done that yet. So I'm going to stop here, and the reason why I'm stopping is because what you can see of that pattern paper coming out of the top and the bottom didn't show the red, and it didn't have the blue. So I'm just cutting it in half and turning it around, although in the end my title covers up quite a bit of that bottom piece anyways. But I just wanted those colors that I'm choosing to pull in to show. And oh my goodness, I hope that doesn't stay crooked like that. Can you see that top layer? Oh, there we go. That's better. Yeah, I wanted those to show because I just felt like it made, you know, it helps pull the layout together. So that's why I stopped and did that. And then I'm just tucking in that other horizontal layer there. I was going to use that as a landing strip for my title, but you'll see I'm going to switch that around and end up pulling a frame in right there for my journaling. So I believe my phone rings. Oh no, I stopped and went away and grabbed some stuff. I lie. My phone is gonna ring and it's gonna cut out for a second. So I just pulled in those 3 different types of thickers, and I have to say, if there's anything about this layout, I love those thickers, those giant ones. The little is in that giant font. Oh, and here's my 9th pattern paper right here. I used this grid in behind this frame. So I really like those giant thickers, and I did the word little on purpose in those that huge font, because the whole point of this layout is that my kids used to play on a train just like this where we used to live, and when they were little, this train was huge, and you know, it was hard for them to climb on, and you know, but now this train is little, and so this is a sad moment for me. My kids are kind of like, whatever mom, you know, but yeah, I just have really fond memories of my kids playing on a train exactly like this where we used to live. And so I made the kids sit on the top of this so that I could take a picture and kind of show their relative size to the relative size of this train, that, you know, they used to have to grab that handle to step up into the train because they were so tiny. So yeah, and I also used a red font to highlight sort of the red train and pull a little bit more red in. So yeah, as I was saying, my only regret is I really love those thickers, but I just feel like they're a little busy and they blend in a bit because there's so many patterns there. But I stuck them down with some glue off camera, and so like, that's what my title is. So whatever. Yeah, sometimes you make choices, you don't always 100% agree with them later on, but that is what the title is going to be. I can't really think of any way to highlight that more other than maybe going around them with a white gel pen or something like that. So I might go back and do that just to try to get them to stand out a little bit more. But yeah, the whole purpose was that the little was large. And yeah, so I'm just writing down my story here. Sorry for my head in the way. I'm a lefty, so I have to turn it. Although I'm not, you know, that nasty hook lefty. Not that that's nasty. But you know how some left-handed people, they really have to like really hook their hand and they're almost writing upside down. I don't have to write like that, but I do have to turn the page. It does help me quite a bit. Yeah, so this is one of those layouts that kind of makes you a little bit emotional as a mom. So yeah. That's okay. Yeah, I like to capture these memories. Sometimes, you know, your kids growing up is a little bit bittersweet of the things that you miss from when they were little. So, oh sorry, I meant to cut this out. I've just walked away to grab some embellishments. I'm going to grab the Wonder Collection because the whole point of the Wonder Collection is sort of, you know, young or young at heart, or you know, memories of childhood. So I thought that one would work out really well. It ends up pulling in a little bit of this sort of greeny, tealy, darker color, but I thought that it worked because that one layer behind my photo sort of has that color in it. I'm also going to use 2 of these little houses here because number 1, to be perfectly honest, I don't know where else I would actually use them, but number 2, part of my journaling is that the park where we used to live is really close to our first house, and so I thought the little houses sort of worked and made sense. And I also just wanted to pull a little bit up into that right corner, so I'm going to cut a tiny little strip of this star paper that I already had horizontally and just use that on the top as well. And I thought that it kind of achieved what I wanted, which is just sort of pull the layout together. And that little strip is off of that sticker sheet. I think that was where my phone might have rung. I know it dead stopped and I didn't realize right away. So I'm just playing around with the die cuts. I realize you can't quite read that once I put the little house on, so I'm just moving it over and tucking that in. And then I'm just playing around with these embellishments. I'm finding that some of these die cuts are too big. I really like that. That's probably one of my favorite spots on the whole layout, that little pinkish heart behind the red. Because I don't know, I just really like that little spot. I think it kind of really conveys, just with that little heart, how much we love that little train. Makes me sad. Yeah, yeah, I'm going to try to fit that in a whole bunch of times because I liked it. It's not going to work. And really, with this many pattern papers, I was trying to keep my embellishments fairly light, and I could have even done way less than I have now. But yeah, I wanted to keep them fairly light and not go too overboard because it's already pretty busy. Although I tried to, by using pattern papers that were a bit more tone on tone, I think that helps a bit. I think if they were all super busy multicolored patterns, it would be really crazy on your eyes. So I'm just tucking that tag in there. I'm turning it over so that 5 doesn't show. And then I'm using that little chipboard heart up there. And then I'm going to write just in the month and the year, and I stopped there to grab, what are those pens called? You know, the ones that you can use to write on slick surfaces? Slick writers. I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. So I just stopped to grab one of those, and then I wrote the date down there, and I wrote the place up on that little spot up there because there was a nice little line. Putting down a couple of these little puffy stickers. So I put that hello up at the top, a little heart by the little memories, and another little heart over by the red train. And then what am I searching for? Oh, I was going to go grab enamel dots, and these I had in my August kit, and I was trying to use them. And I'm going to stick a couple down, but the colors just don't work. They're not, I don't know, they're not working for me at all. So I'm going to stick a couple down, I'm going to look, and I'm going to go, yeah, no. So I'm going to pull it back. I'm going to play, I'm going to put it back. Pull the other one back. And then I think, you know what? This really doesn't need more color. There's lots of color, but maybe something more neutral. Sorry, giant head in the way. My goodness. It's just a few little stars. So there's already some stars on the paper, and you know, to me, wood veneers are pretty neutral. So here's the close-ups. I didn't make you watch me glue those down. I hope you enjoyed, and I can't wait to see your multi-pattern puzzle layouts. Talk to you soon. Bye.